back to the Brood for Life podcast. We have Audrey from the Mom Me Network on today, and as I had said, this is going to most likely be like an every Monday thing where we get together and do an episode and talk a little about her project and a little bit of us and try to cover as much stuff as we can. So, Audrey, say hello.
Hello.
First off, let's give a little bit of insight as to what made you switch your branding from Aspired Mama to the Mommy Network.
The Aspired Mama, I just kind of came up like on the whim before I even really knew what I wanted to do completely with like my business or my account. I knew I wanted to do something related to moms and just moms coming together and being there for each other and understanding each other and supporting each other and rooting each other on. I felt like the Aspired Mama didn't really cover all of that. And so after doing some brainstorming, I came across the Mommy Network and I kind of liked the sounds of it. I liked the flow of it and I liked this just when you hear it, I feel like it makes you think like it's like a community of moms, which is essentially what I was going for.
And now that you've switched, you've got your site up and running and store up and running and a couple of digital products. Yeah.
Yeah. So once I kind of figured out exactly what I wanted to do, you never really know where to start. Like I had access to the digital products and I honestly slacked starting it because I didn't know really where to start or what I was doing, but it walks you through everything so clearly and like so step by step that literally all you have to do is just start it. And it's like you're starting from literal rock bottom, which is essentially what I was doing. So just from that one course that I took, I was able to just kind of teach myself how to make the digital products, and I made one myself, and I'm currently working on another one right now.
And they can all go to your store, the links attached to your Instagram page, right?
Correct. And the first two on my website, the Roadmap Exclusive and the Hustle Free earnings, when you purchase those, you are also purchasing the right to resell them. So you can resell it for however much money you want to. You can edit it. You can make it your own. You can rebrand it and then resell it for full profit.
So getting into like this whole platform, you started it to, I don't know, just to be able to generate a little bit of extra income and then also to be able to connect with other moms to help them go through some of the ups and downs of what it's like to not just be a mom but be a first-time mom and navigate all of the emotions and the changes and obviously the parts of being a mom where you're raising a baby and the ups and downs and the struggles and the day in and day outs of that. What do you think is the hardest part about being a mom?
Everything. I don't know. Probably keeping your patience. And I would also have to say, you can't. I was a big napper, like, all the time, and you
did nap all the time.
I napped all the time. It was a daily thing, and not being able to have, like, the downtime, I guess, to just be like, I'm tired now, I'm gonna go nap. Like, that's not a thing. You have to, not only do you have to stay awake, but you have to feed this thing, take care of this thing, change its diaper, like, you're taking care of two people at once, which is very difficult, but I feel like I took advantage of the days where we could just stick him in his jumper and, like live our lives, because now every time we walk away, it's like, mommy, mommy, daddy, daddy, daddy.
Yeah, and he's definitely, he's so much more active and so much more aware and
I just feel like I can't keep up.
He never stops, and he's constantly learning new things, and he's saying new things, and sometimes it feels like in a day like he's achieved, I don't know, like 6 new friggin' tasks, and he always, he's definitely a button pusher. So he's definitely a blend of you and me, both stubborn, both challenging in our own right.
Too smart for his own good.
He is too smart for his own good. And he tries your patience with the boundaries stuff. He pushes back like a friggin' teenager, and I don't know why. He gets that from you.
There's no way.
He gets it from you.
I mean, he might.
It just seems like it's an ongoing, never changing.
There's never a break, but there's also never a dull moment. So I feel like that's not true. There's a lot of dull moments, but like the good definitely outweighs the bad.
He's a handful, like I've talked about it on some other episodes about the difference between, having him and having Ian. And Ian was like so mild mannered and only really kicked and screamed and cried when he didn't feel good. But he was pretty laid back, and like, I know you didn't like it from day one, but I always said, like, Cameron's a face puncher. The kid's a face puncher. The older he gets, his resilience, his I don't want this to, like, brand him, but he is just, sometimes he's like, I don't give a fuck what you say, I'm doing this. And he gives you, like, that sass. Talks to you, like, not like you personally, but he talks to us like he's in charge.
He talks to me like he's in charge.
He just... He is every bit of the blend of both of us. I think that the path that got us to the point where we decided to do this and have a kid, and like it was a monstrous step to make that decision. And I think the thing that most people don't understand is that, like, we were still navigating us at that point. But we had been kind of on the path, like sometimes on and off at different times, but we always knew where we wanted to be. So as much as, some of the people around us were, I don't want to say they weren't supportive, but they were definitely confused at the pace that we were walking on when it came to, oh, by the way, we're going to have a baby. And I think that, like, now we're here, with Cameron being 2 years old, and as things change, it almost feels like everybody else, like both our families, our friends, or whatever, have just kind of like jumped on the path with us, and they're part of, like, the learning and the growing and all of that stuff, and less apprehensive, less... I don't think either side of our families were judgmental, but less... I don't know, standoffish?
Yeah, I would have to agree. I mean, I was definitely concerned in the beginning because obviously there's an age gap. But it also, like, it was hard to explain to people that, like, this wasn't a new thing. Like, to everyone else it was new, but, like, to us, like, it was not new. Like, it was years
right, yeah,
in the making. So it's funny to, like, look back, and we'll talk about, like, family vacations we went on, or I'll mention, I remember when we came here, like, when I went to Niagara Falls, like, when we came here and Dan was like, oh my god, like, I would love to take you to Niagara Falls, and one day, and my mom was like, oh my god, that was like 5 years ago. I was like, I know.
Right, yeah.
And it's just funny because, like, it wasn't new for us, which is why I think it was so easy, but for everyone else around us, I think it was, like, a lot to swallow.
I mean,
everyone's adjusted pretty well.
This process wasn't easy, to get us to where we are was not easy by any stretch of the imagination, like, trying to navigate how we were going to handle us, and then, navigating going through my divorce, which was a fucking nightmare. And then while we were doing that, we're still trying to figure us out and prepare for a baby and trying to find out where we were going to live and try to get all of that stuff figured out. And I think sometimes when you look back at all of those things now, you realize how many hurdles we jumped, how many hills we had to climb, how many obstacles got in our way. I think we have persevered through more shit in the last 4 years, not including the previous years. Then
It would
I
still
think
be the most if you counted them.
yeah, like it's wild to think that some relationships fail having to conquer half of what we have, and we have we haven't made it to the other side yet because like relationships are ever changing and the dynamic of it is the like I don't it's not tough, but like we know that there's going to be other things that pop up here and there, like growing pains that happen, and we're gonna run into other challenges as a couple, and I just think that like sometimes I think about all of that stuff and like how did we not give up when other people who have been together for so many years longer can't figure a way to work together as a team to come to a resolution. And maybe that just it just says that when you find your person, you have your person, and that's it. You guys we have just found a way to buckle down and face tasks together. I mean, I've talked numerous times in other episodes about like my failures and how much I sucked at being a dad again in the beginning with my lack of patience and my struggles of trying to figure out how to manage my thoughts and my feelings and my reactions to different things. And I've given you praise for all of that because I really do believe that if it wasn't for you and you giving me a reason to want to make a difference in myself, I don't know if I necessarily would have. I probably would have just stayed the course and continued to be, for lack of a better word, an asshole and wouldn't have cared if the person I was with liked what I had to say or any of those kind of things. Like you just changed the way I looked at things. And that's like when you meet your person, and I think we've talked about it before, but like I think that when we met each other and we were each on our own separate paths at that point, like we both have said that like we just kind of knew that like that's where I'm supposed to be, and like something about this person is just way different than anything I've ever run into before. And maybe that's why we've been able to deal with what we've had to deal with and find a way to come together, even though sometimes like we fought each other, but we didn't really fight against each other to the point of destruction. And then even when we did get us to a point where like things got really, really bad, when we saw each other months later, like
It was like, I hate you, but I'm really
Yeah.
happy to see you, so I'm gonna awkwardly smile and cry
right,
and give you dirty looks all at the same time.
right,
And then I'm gonna hug when we say goodbye.
right, yeah. It was like
But also, fuck you.
right. I remember leaving that moment and just going, my fucking life is not in the right place right now. Everything that I wanted and everything that made me happy and everything that felt like it was where I belong was in you. And then when we left that day and we, you got in your car and left and I went back to fucking work, I think that just like reignited everything that I already knew, but it just
You're
gave
going
me
home
more
after.
drive to want to figure it out and want to start, putting those pieces together and really start building what the rest of my life was going to look like. And the first part of that was you, and now Cameron. I just think it's wild And I don't think that, I don't know. I don't really know where my life would have went if we had not gotten to where we are. That part is kind of scary to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess things would have just stayed the same for you. I don't know what the fuck would have happened to me.
I don't know. I don't know.
I definitely wouldn't be working the job that I am now, I think. I would still be, working my butt off for $2 an hour. I mean, maybe I would have, I don't know. I wouldn't be living with a crazy bitch.
The revolving door of fun. That's something that I think everybody would laugh at. So when Audrey and I got back together, she had this roommate that seemed like, I don't know, she just had like a nasty attitude, and she was nice when she wanted to be, but like she like just kind of imposed her presence on people. She was like I don't know, like a fucking wild pig. Just
she was something.
like what are they called? Not swine. What the fuck are they called? Wild hogs or whatever that run around all over in the South, and they become like a problem, and they tear up crops and kill animals and whatever, and they get hunted. Like, she's that. She just like puts herself in places, turns it into a friggin' shitstorm, and then leaves and acts like it wasn't happening. But she was like a revolving door of like men. It was weird. It's like she was running like her own little Tinder out of her bedroom. It was fucking disgusting.
That's basically what it was.
And then she would shit and leave fucking snail trails in the toilet and fucking cook shit and fucking leave it on the counter for days and ugh.
And then get food poisoning.
Right. Yeah, she was fucking disgusting, to say the least. Disgusting. I don't know how you did it.
I had a brother. I'm kidding. Andrew wasn't that gross.
Andrew was nowhere. Andrew doesn't like germs at all.
I don't know.
You did what you had to do to survive, I guess, but like, I don't know, like she was fucking disgusting.
I'm really good at keeping my mouth shut, so.
I'm really good at not keeping my mouth shut, at least then. I think the only reason why I kept my mouth shut is because you made me promise to, please don't say anything, I have to live with her.
Rocking boats. Unless I've like really had enough.
Teach you how to be a boat rocker.
Nah.
Yeah. So what else about this platform?
I don't know. I mean, I plan on coming out with like more digital products as we go about all sorts of different things, but also just to create like just a community of moms, first-time moms postpartum. I just feel like there's a lot of things about being a mom that people don't really talk about, and it can be very lonely, and you can feel very alone. And you think it's just you, like, in the moment. And, I mean, postpartum feelings are wild. So to be able to connect with people, like, from everywhere who feel exactly the same way is just very comforting, emotionally and mentally. And I just think that it's just important to know that there's other people than you that feel the way that you do every single day.
I because I post so much stuff about dads, like I get these groups of like dads like bonding together and teaching them that it's okay to be like masculine and all these things, and I agree with some of the message that they put out, but I don't agree with some of the other messages that get put out on those things. I think it's important that, like they always have said that like women are much better at bonding together and talking about like their emotions and their feelings and trying to find some kind of an understanding. I think what's missed and you don't hear enough about, and people don't talk about it until they're going through it, is just what you were saying. Like when you get pregnant, your body goes through all these chemical changes, and there's a lot of like feelings and things that didn't bother you before now bother you now, and foods that you were able to eat before you can't eat now, and especially with you, like your body has gone through so many changes that it has made an impact on how your body functions. And I think that it needs to be talked about more, because women have done such a good job at bonding like with abusive, like domestic violence and abusive relationships, even, like verbal, mental, physical, or whatever. Um, I think that this attribute and this aspect of being a mom, I think that it's a huge opportunity for people to be able to come together and talk about what they're thinking, what they're feeling, like I think it's underestimated how dark your thoughts can be when you're going through postpartum. And I think it's important that women get together and talk about those things. And so that they can understand that like everybody goes through those feelings. And I think it's important that men, like, yes, it's okay to be masculine and all these things, but like you have to be understanding, and you have to be conscious and aware, and like things that mattered before can't matter now. And I think that starting a program like you have, and being able to be open for people to kind of come together and talk about the untalkable things, I think it's important. I think it's important that those conversations come out in a manner where somebody can just fucking listen and say, yeah, I went through that too. And even if it's just like simple words that say like you'll get through it, but like you don't know how to get through it.
I remember like shortly after we had Cameron, which was obviously hard for me because I had never been a mom, and then you haven't had a newborn in 18 years, so I think I don't know, something had happened that really frustrated me. I think it had something to do with you, or it had something to do with Cameron like wanting me more than you. It was when we were trying to figure out like his milk situation, and I had said something to my mom, like complaining and just feeling really down, and like I had nothing left to give, but it had to be me because I was the mom. And she just kind of made a comment and was like, welcome to being a mom, honey. Or it was like something that you did that you didn't intend to, that like upset me. Um, and again, it was like, welcome to being a mom, honey. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why did nobody. I don't know. My mom always made, and I think about this a lot, my mom always made comments like growing up about how maybe she didn't have enough time for herself or this or that. And it was always kind of like, she kind of made it sound like she was, I don't want to say a slave, but like it was always mom, 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 mom. And that she just never had a break. And I remember thinking, like, oh my God, she's so dramatic. Like, if you need a break, like, take a break. Like, you're doing this yourself. But then after I became a mom, and now that we have the house and we have, like our own house and we have a baby and we've got 2 dogs and a cat and there's dog hair everywhere, like all that shit, I just, like, I look back and I wish that, maybe I gave her a hug and said, like, that's not true, or, done more to help. And, I look back and I think, like, wow, she wasn't being dramatic. Like, she actually meant
Well, it's
this.
just the part about life that people.
And she was doing it with 3 kids. I'm bitching about 1.
I think the part about life that people, I think, lose track of is that just because you become a parent, like, the laundry still needs to get done, dinner still needs to get cooked,
Right.
laundry still needs to get done, the house still needs to get cleaned, the yard still needs to be mowed. On days like today, because here in Connecticut it fucking snowed again, like the driveway needs to be cleared, and to try to navigate that and also have a job, it does feel like you never have time for yourself. It's not even a matter of having time for yourself, because it's not the same contrast, but like you always said to me, like you spend so much time enjoying the moments, like when we're together with a group of people, that you forget to capture the moment. And that's one of the things that you're so great at, is making sure that we have pictures or videos or whatever. There's like something to capture those moments. Instead of just living in it, be able to remember it and have pictures to help you remember it. And I think the same kind of thought process goes with being a parent. So and carrying all those things, all the tasks and your job and all those things, is that like when you have those downtimes, I think it's important to be present in those moments. And by that I mean like shutting off all the other stuff that has to get done, like just enjoying like this 30-minute block, if you can get it, of quiet and calmness and all of those things. I think that that's important. Like, yes, if you could find time to grab some, however long it might be, an hour, 2 hours, or whatever, a full day, like something to do for yourself where you're not tied down by the other tasks, you have to be able to put yourself present in those moments. And things like what you were just saying, like your mom feels like she never had that time. I think that goes to a lot, like a huge broad thing. Like just the other day we were talking about how frustrated sometimes I get with my job, and I can't see outside of that frustration to be able to kind of clear my head and calm down and be able to enjoy what's going on. It's a learning experience for everybody at some point, But like you said, if people don't talk about it, you don't realize that you're going to have to conquer these things, Like if somebody doesn't tell you that you're impacting everything around you, like we've talked about, when I get that frustrated, like it impacts everybody around me, and I don't see it. I just think that I'm talking to everybody about what's frustrating me, not realizing that there's an emotional and a mental impact that falls not just on you, but it falls on Ian too. And Cameron, thank God, he doesn't get too worked up in those moments. He just kind of does his own thing. But it's got to be impacting him at some point. And I think that if you don't have people around you to talk about the postpartum and talk about those things, talk about like you're going to have to wear a lot of hats when you have a kid in your own house and those kind of things, try to deliver to you where it doesn't sound like it's like your life coming to an end. Like people talk about marriage like that. Like, oh, your life is over, you got married. Like, what the fuck do you mean your life is over? The significant difference between where you were before you were married and where you are after you're married is a legal document. So if you allowed your relationship to fall apart and make it seem like it's a task instead of, like
something you're supposed to be enjoying,
right, then that's a you thing. And you're choosing to look at your relationship differently when it's not.
Chore.
It's the same thing it was before.
Yeah.
It's not a chore. It's not another job. That's supposed to be your person, and you're supposed to be able to kind of navigate different things together as a couple and address things as a couple. Tough times, good times, all those things. Like it's not like, I don't know. I don't like it when people talk about marriages like that. Like it's like it's the worst fucking thing. Well, if you heard people say it was the worst fucking thing, and then you got married, and now you're continuing to say it's the worst fucking thing, even though your spouse might be the most supportive whatever person, like, why?
People are followers.
What's that?
People are followers.
Well, I don't know if people are followers with that. I think that they're just, maybe they just don't want to make somebody feel bad. Like I don't feel bad when people talk about like that kind of stuff, because like if I go out to a brewery, like I want you to be there. Like, like to me, having you not there and be a part of it is like not having my best friend with me. Like I want to be able to have you there enjoying all the same things that I enjoy. Like, and the only reason I wouldn't want you to be there is if you were like, it's not really my thing, I'm out. Just go and enjoy it. But some people make it sound like I have to ask permission. Like, it's not about asking permission. It's just about communicating what it is that's going on, and that it's okay to say like, I would like to go. What do you think about it? Not like, is it okay if I go? Like, it should be a conversation, not like asking permission.
Join?
Right. It's like talking to your spouse about going to do thing isn't
okay
like talking to your fucking parents.
Yeah.
But people make it sound that way, which I think is kind of like ridiculous. There's no reason for that.
I mean, unless it's like a guys only, like, hey, the guys are going to watch the baseball game. Like, okay, have fun. I don't give a fuck about baseball.
I don't know. I don't do those things.
I don't give a fuck about sports. I'm sorry.
I know you
If
don't
there's
give a
gonna
fuck
be
about
food
sports.
there and some drinks and some other girls are going, yeah, count me in.
Yeah, note to self.
But if you're just going with
Audrey's
your
not coming
guys,
unless you have food and high noons.
yeah, or any kind of cider,
Or-
any alcohol, really. I'm a
Or some
trash.
nice down east ciders.
Yeah. But if it involves like doing something where you're gonna be distracted and I have to bring my kid, that's just not. I'm not down for that.
You'd rather be home?
I'd rather be home where Cameron can have his toys and run around, and I'm not in someone else's house that's not baby proofed or in the middle of a restaurant running after my toddler. And
I
then
suppose
having
the
him
good
scream
thing
and
is
then
that
everyone stare.
The only thing I
good.
ever want to do is just go out to the garage and get a workout done, or go out to the garage and make beer. Every once in a while, especially this time of the year, I'll go out and have a cigar. But like, I'm literally 20 feet from the house.
I know.
It's not far enough.
Sometimes it's not. Starbucks is though.
All right, so everybody just kind of, every Monday we're gonna get together and we're gonna talk about some stuff. Maybe talk a little bit more about the path that got us to where we are. Some people might be happy about it if we talk about that. Some people might say that we're assholes or whatever, but you're all entitled to your opinion. This will be an everyday Monday thing? What do you think?
Yeah.
Support
Next time
your...
we're gonna drink alcohol though.
So I just want to, again, thank you guys for listening. Follow the Mama Network, the Mommy Network
Yeah.
on Instagram.
Get it right.
In her bio is the link for all the digital products. So check that out. Also check out the YouTube page, Brewed for Life Podcast, the Instagram page, Brewed for Life Podcast, and did have a brew day for Baines Brewing, so there's videos up on that on the Instagram page for Baines Brewing, and then also posted some videos and stuff on YouTube. It's all connected with the Brewed for Life Podcast. So thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll talk to you guys real soon.